Hello. So no one's complained about the audio, but I was listening to last week and the audio was not that good. So I may need to switch from uh, using it's called a snowball. It's a blue microphone, but it's more of an ambient. Uh, it's more of an ambient mic. Okay, so the sound is good. Okay, it felt a little overpowering. I think So I realized how loud I am, which is something I often forget. So I think my mom had told me to use my inside voice about a million times by the time I was 7 or 8. All right, so and sorry to hear about Slater having the cone of shame. And big hello to hi Saban, Mike G, Colette, Bill B, bonjour Paul, to Brian Sweeney, hello, and Ruth as always. Let's see, hopefully I didn't miss anybody. Yeah, so I'm feeling better-ish. So I have this I'm not married. I have one of these rings, this like aura ring, and it monitors. Hi, Gabrielle. It monitors your like stress levels and things like that. And I do. I should sound better-ish because I am better, but it's been really interesting to see this whole week or this last month since I got just before I got sick, and then when I got sick, I really like my rating for like stress resilience and stuff was like showed that I was behind. So it's been interesting, and then I've really just like been hit and miss with getting a chance to meditate. So today is it's good to have commitments and that keep you accountable, and this being one of them. So welcome, Lynn. But I would say that I've been irregular, or I've not been meditating daily-ish since I got back from the Omega retreat that I got to attend. Just kind of odd. That does happen, by the way. So it's from a normalizing perspective. You'll come back from a retreat and you'll actually have a harder time being consistent with your meditation than you did before the retreat. So that happens on and off. But just so that there's no rumors out there that I'm a magically consistent meditator, just to debunk those. So, yeah, that is a good question. Was I over meditated? I don't know that I was. So, as a coach, you would ask that. That's a good question. So, kudos for coming up with that one. Because that might be part of it. Is like you're meditating too much. Your dosage is too high, and it's not sustainable. And then you dial it back. So, in a popular example of that might be Dan Harris was talking about how he meditated for 2 hours a day for a while. This is on the 10% Happy Year podcast. And in that, like to me is not like for a lot of us is not sustainable. And if you are listening to this and you're like all this chit chat and I don't even know who you are, I have not introduced myself. So my name is Andrew. I'm a mindfulness meditation coach, certified through the Unified Mindfulness program. And this is Wednesday, and we normally do a 25-minute sit. Right now, we are sort of relaxing into the do nothing technique, or we're exploring do nothing. And the premise is pretty much straightforward. We're going to do 25-minute sit where I will, instead of what we normally would do, is we would end with the do nothing practice where we let go of our technique, whatever we've been practicing, and just do nothing. We'll start out like we normally do with about 2 or 3 minutes of like kind of a setup of our sit, and then we'll let you explore on your own with do nothing. And that's where we just are we're dropping any of our attempts to micromanage our attention, and we're allowing our attention sort of a very wide pasture, stealing that from Suzuki Roshi. Shunryu Suzuki would often say that if you wanted to ensure that you were taking care of a cow, you would give them a wide pasture. So that is what we're headed toward. And then if you have any questions or reports at the end, you can put those into chat. I think everybody here is probably on the mailing list, but there is a mailing list. Yeah, the attention is our attention the cow. So so the reason I think the cow comes up often is a cow is close to an ox, and there was a point in time where most families would have, at least in a rural or agrarian society, would have an ox for pulling their cart to market and plowing their fields. So just like the dream of today's digital age was sort of like everybody has a computer at home. Everybody had a ox or a cow. So I think that's potentially where that comes from. But in this scenario, I think our attention is in fact the cow. So so I could have just said yes. All right. I don't know if I've forgotten anything else. I'm going to put 25 minutes on our clock here. So, and I'm going to avoid. So we got 25 minutes on the clock. And we've got a bell, and we're going to invite the bell. And then you're always welcome to implement your own technique if you're here primarily for community and support and accountability. Perfectly fine. But I'll give you my sort of pointers. And as we settle in for our meditation, we'll begin with really just kind of checking in on the posture. So I'll focus on the seated posture, either in a chair, on a cushion, or on a bench. But if you are lying down or standing or walking, I'll trust that you can adopt the guidance to your posture. And really the posture is a foundation for where our sit starts. So that's why I like to begin with it. So arranging the feet in a way that is allowing you to be stable. So if you're in a chair, ideally flat on the floor. Checking in with the torso, or sort of aiming at an upright but not uptight alignment. And just checking to see if the shoulders are down and away from the ears. And then a chance to sort of get a flavor for what is already here. So if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you're probably finishing your day. And so that could mean relief and a sense of accomplishment, or looking forward to the evening's activities, or it could be an acknowledgement for the first time of like, oh wow, my shoulders are sore, or I must have been clenching my jaw. Again, we're not trying to create anything, we're just acknowledging what's here. And then finally, a few deliberate breaths. Slow and low is the tempo we're going for. Ideally, if you aren't congested, breathing in through the nose and extending the exhale as you breathe out. And we're not doing anything to control the breath. We're simply breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And for do nothing, we're really just taking our seat, aligning our body, and being with this notion of sitting and knowing that you're sitting. And the knowing is kind of, well, it's fantastic because it just happens. And then you might notice that you begin to sort of corral your concentration and just kind of letting back. And then as you maybe begin to guide and narrow your focus, then just kind of allowing that to drop, and again going back to this being with the notion that we're just sitting. And so I'll let you explore on your own and maybe chime in a little bit later. So enjoy, do nothing. And then just a quick reminder that if you don't feel like do nothing is the right match for your current consciousness, then you can always shift to home based practice. It's always an option. And if you feel like maybe it's a match, you're not ready to shift to the home base, just checking in with the posture. A reminder that we sit with our bones, not our muscles. And that's one way to help us be a little more stable and still. And then the last little thing is just the notion that you should feel empowered to move and then return to stillness. And the notion is that every return to stillness is kind of an opportunity to settle back in. And the contrast of moving and being still is kind of a bit of the flex for our concentration and our sensory clarity. So offer that and let you continue. I'll ring the bell to signal that our sit has ended. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for making time to be here on Wednesday or watch the recording in the future. Again, if you have any questions, reports, things that came up during the sit that you'd like to ask about, you can always put that in chat. Good to hear. You're very welcome, Bill and Mike. So for folks that are on Instagram, I don't know. So I think we included Brooke's Instagram when Brooke guided for, and it was when she filled in for Jeff. But so Jeff's retreat was last weekend in Boone. For folks that's where Jeff was. So if you get a chance, I'm gonna put it here in chat. So on Instagram, take a look at Brooks posted some really amazing pictures from the Art of Living Center in Boone, North Carolina, where Jeff's retreat was. Fantastic. You're incredibly welcome, Gabrielle, Colette, Brian, Saban, as always, and Ruth. Trisha as well. Thank you for making it, Trisha. So thanks for folks that have adjusted to the time. I know for a couple folks it still is fitting back into your schedule as it shifted around. So anyway, I wanted to call out just how beautiful the pictures from Boone were that Brooke took and shared on Instagram for folks. And folks will know Brooke from filling in for me earlier this year and then being part of the community as a whole. And then if I could live anywhere other than the United States, one of the places I would love to live is Bhutan. It's probably my favorite place that we visited. My girlfriend and I have been to 15 or 16 countries now. And if you're in the US, actually probably can find this on YouTube as well for folks that are north of the border. 60 Minutes had a special on Bhutan just this last Sunday. Really, really interesting. So, and Bhutan, some will know because their fourth king, when asked about their gross domestic product, said to the interviewer that they didn't worry as much about gross domestic product. They were more interested in gross domestic happiness. And so you'll often see from tourism is a big part of what keeps the country going as a whole. It's a very, very small country. It's up nestled in between Nepal and India. I think the population is around 780 or 790,000. But the report was talking about how there's a certain level of framing, if you want this to be a positive thing, that their success from a gross, so national gross happiness has been that a lot of their young people were moving to gosh, just pausing, Australia. And so a large contingent, maybe like 60 or 70,000 folks had moved to Australia. I work with a gentleman from Bhutan at my current place of employment as well. Fantastic individual. And so anyway, I just thought if you hadn't had a chance to check that out, and if you're interested in architecture, the story finishes with a highlight of this mindfulness city they're trying to build in southern Bhutan. So I think his name is Björk Ingels. He's featured in there's a I think it's called. There's a series on Netflix called Abstract, and Björk Ingels is featured in that. So yeah, so it was 60 minutes. If you give me a chance, maybe I can find the link really quick and I can drop it in. But there's kind of right now there's not a whole lot of amazing there's not a whole lot of amazing things in the news to really focus on, and this is definitely one of them. So that's a link to it there. But and I just searched for Bhutan in 60 minutes. So the story starts out on Duchla Pass, which is sort of a high mountain pass, sort of in between the capital and then where you would fly in, a place called Paro. Anyway, if anyone's listening to this that has connections in Bhutan, I'd love to teach programming in Bhutan. I'm just going to put that out there. So that would be a fantastic place to be. All right, so rapidly approaching the top of the hour. Next week is our last of the 6. Yes, we do need to do a retreat there. The teacher for my the Zen Sangha that I sit with has led retreats and done things in there. So the Netflix series that the Netflix series I think is called Abstract. And it is all about design. So, and if you give me a second here, I will drop this in for you, Gabrielle. So, oh no, boo! Gave me a bad link. 1 second. All right. It still gave me a bad link. All right, hold on. So, okay, so let me. If you look for Björk Ingels and Abstract, thank you so much, Ruth. But and I don't know if I'm saying Mr. Ingels' name correctly, but I think it's Björk. Like the masculine Björk. Björk, I think. So yeah, so that was just a thing I thought I would mention. And then today is the 5th of 6 do nothings that I had slotted out for us. So next week will be the Wednesday before American Thanksgiving, and I will do a do nothing practice probably from my mom's house, either my mom's house or our travel trailer, and then we'll start December with a new topic. A couple people had emailed and asked about the unified mindfulness concept of flow. So there will be turkey. I will be helping make the turkey, but I won't be eating the turkey. I will be eating some sort of tofu furky concoction. Yes, some sort of tofurkey of some sort. I'm a big fan of stuffing, so I love that part of the Thanksgiving tradition. But yeah, there will be turkey. I have been a sous chef for my mom for years now, and so I think I will be the most, or we will be probably warming up a setup that we will be getting. So I think to make everything a little bit easier. But yeah, so I thought flow. So a couple folks had asked about it, and I thought flow would be a fantastic thing to explore, probably for a couple sessions in December. And that was just a thought there, and so just want to put that out as a teaser. So you've got my email. So if you have thoughts or suggestions, you can always send those. But right now, I think the business term would be, unless otherwise directed, we'll probably do flow techniques on the first week and the second week of December. And then maybe we'll switch back to the deck around January, or will something along those lines. We'll see. I think that's it. And then hopefully, yes, rest. Rest in December. Well, and rest and flow, I think, are probably two of my favorite sort of pieces from the curriculum as a whole. But I want to be mindful of time. Thank you so much for the folks that have stuck it out, and thank you for your thumbs up and everything. And have a fantastic rest of your week. Have a great rest of your Thursday for those that are dialing in from Australia. And I will see you on Sunday. Super welcome. Thanks again.